As you use more trend lines, as you use more elements from the analytics menu, you start to discover that there's three main things that you need to consider. One is what's called tables, the second is called panes, and the third is called cells. All right, so what is the difference? All right, let's look at this graphic right here. If I consider the table, right, if I'm referring to the table, I'm talking about the entire data set. Okay, if I'm referring to a pane, I'm looking at an individual portion of data. Okay, and then when I refer to cell, I'm looking at the individual points of information. Okay, so when I apply an average, I can apply it to the whole thing, I can apply it to just the pane or just to an individual cell, right? If that's what I want, right? So here's how you do it, okay? And I'll show you the differences. Let's clear this out. And really what I'm looking at is, so segment versus category. Let's do a fresh one. So let's bring in the order date. I'm gonna right click drag and let's look at just months, right? And let's bring in sales. Okay, we now have this plot, and I want to split it up by segment. All right, so let's bring segment in here, right? And I want to split it up again. Actually, maybe we'll just leave it here, and let's go into our analytics menu. Right, I'm going to show you the average line. So if we grab average line, you're going to notice something come up: table, pane, and cell. I'm going to drop this in table and watch what happens. It puts a line across the entire thing because it's calculating the average across my entire analysis. But what if I wanted it per pane? I wanted to know the average of this section right here. Well, let's remove this. I'm just going to click it once, go remove, right? And let's just increase our battery power because I'm feeling a bit of lag here, right? There we go, it's a bit better. And let's grab average line again, and this time drop it into pane, and you'll notice it looks substantially different. I now have the average separate per pane, right? And and another feature the analytics menu does is, let's say I'm only interested in like this component right here. When I select them, watch what happens. It recalculates my average based on the points I've selected. So a neat little feature. Okay, and then from here I can also change this, so it doesn't have to just be average. As you know, with Tableau there's a number of aggregates that we use. Sum is just one of them. You got max, you got min, there's median, there is count, there's all sorts of things we can use. So we can modify this simply by clicking it once, okay, and we can change it from here directly, or if we want to get into a bit more detail, we go edit, right, which brings up this menu. From here, I can change it from average, total, sum, constant. So if you just want it to be a fixed value, I can change this to be other values that I've created if I don't want it to be a sum. I can also customize it. One thing I like to do is instead of just saying average, I actually want to know what the average value is. So in the label, I'm going to go custom, and I'm going to go AVG, so average, semicolon, and to create the value as a dynamic thing, so it changes every time, I'm going to press this little button right here, and I'm going to go value. And from here, you can see we now have the value on our plot. Okay, I'm going to modify the format a little bit. Let's create a dash line. Okay, let's make it black. And we can also change if it's filled above and below. So let's say anything below the average is bad. Let's make that, you know, maybe that kind of red, and anything above it is, let's say, a blue, a nice pleasant blue. I probably would never show it like this. I'll probably keep one but not the other and go okay. Okay, so we can do something like that. We can probably make this a little bit more what do you call it, translucent, okay, to really show our data. And that's basically all there is to tables, panes, and cells. So hopefully that gives you a better explanation for when you're trying to do, your split analysis. And even if you add things later on, it will still split further down the line. Okay. So now it does averages for every single pane independently. All right. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.